Good morning, everyone. Today I'm going to demonstrate how to change the transmission fluid on your new generation Saab 9.3 with the 6-speed manual. And this applies to both the V6 and the inline-4 B207 engine, which is what this car has. Okay, so the first thing to do before you even jack up the car is I've gone ahead and removed the battery and the battery tray. The reason for this is the fill plug to the transmission is that bolt I'm shining the light on down there. You can get to it on the 4-cylinder version with a long extension, but you'll find it probably a lot easier to fill it with the battery box removed. It's not a lot of effort, and if this is your first time doing it, you can kind of see that the bolt is extremely rusted. So better to take off the battery and be safe, in my opinion. If you have the V6 variant, you must take off the battery. All right, so now with the extension in the fill plug rather, I'm just going to take a hammer and lightly tap on it. Very gently, just so I can break through some of that rust that's sitting on the top of the bolt. But this looks pretty good, so I'm going to go ahead and try and crack it. And in the sunlight, you can see just how rusted this bolt was. I would absolutely not put this back in my car. Instead, I got a replacement part. So this is what the new fill plug looks like. It's still a hex bolt, but strangely, it also has a magnet on it. I'll also be replacing the transmission drain plug. As you can see, they've switched to a Torx fitting in later versions. This, I believe, is a T45 Torx. All right, so I'm underneath the car on the driver's side, and if you look on the transmission here, you should see an 8mm drain bolt. If you're having trouble finding it, just look for the lower control arm on the driver's side and then just follow it past the subframe, and you should see it right on the transmission. Now would be a good time to mention that if you have the front-wheel drive variant of this car, which most of them are, the total capacity of the gearbox is 2.4 liters, but the workshop information system calls for 2.2 liters refill. So again, 1.6 liters if you have the all-wheel drive, 2.2 liters if you have the front-wheel drive. So I'm not the type of home mechanic that cares too much about performance liquids or additive packages or anything like that. So I just decided to go with the OEM fluid, which GM still makes actually. In fact, if you check the expiry date on these bottles, it says 2025. So it's not like this has been sitting on a shelf since Saab went bankrupt. GM still makes this. And if you're confused about what to get, there's a lot of different recommendations online. But what I would recommend is just buy the fluid that came with the car. Now get yourself a long funnel and stick it in the fill hole. And if you don't trust your aim, because I don't, I'm going to add a larger funnel on top, and that should be pretty good. Okay, so after I've finished filling it, I've now tightened it down to 33 foot-pounds, or 45 Newton meters, and that bolt looks good to go. So now all that's left to do is just reattach the battery. First, the 3 Torx bolts at the bottom of the battery box. Add your battery back and connect to the positive terminal. And that's how you change the transmission oil on a Saab 9.3 gearbox. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them down below. I'll try to include all of the tightening torques, part numbers, and products that you might need in the description of the video. So just check there if you have any questions, and have a nice day.